Yeah, let's talk about replacement refs. So, this has been gaining some traction. New collective bargaining agreement coming up with the officials. You saw a bunch of coaches and owners talk about how they want things changed in the game just to have a little bit more, I don't want to say accountability, but I guess more just real-time decision-making from the league to call out when there's egregious fouls that either aren't called, what have you. And so the NFL, they're talking to the officials association and trying to come up with a contract. It expires, I think it's the end
May
of May.
31.
Yeah, so May 31st. Apparently 2 weeks ago, they stopped talking. And so things are not going well. You've had sources inside the league say, like, we wish it was at a better place right now in terms of negotiating. And so the NFL is already starting to look at hiring college refs, aka replacement refs, for the preseason and potentially into the regular season if they don't get a deal. Now, this happened way back when. What was that, 2012? Right around there. It was like, 14 years ago? For the good old Fail Mary, and that's what ended that holdout real quick, or that lockout real quick. And so now we're talking about bringing replacement refs back once again. And on top of that, we had a new rule that was passed here. So the NFL owners passed a rule that will allow New York to correct a call on the field if they're using replacement refs. So if they wind up starting the season with replacement refs, then you're going to be able to have New York correct a call on the field if they screw it up. This is so great. How many billions of dollars does the NFL make? And it's like, hey, this is great. This is so good for the game. Man, I'm so excited to get replacement refs back, especially when it didn't negatively impact my team whatsoever.
Yeah, well, the NFL's like, you know what? They'll be better this time because we're going to start this process a couple months earlier. And we'll fix the wrong calls. Will you fix the wrong calls if the regular refs are out there? No. What? We're going to bring in these less proven, shittier refs, and if they fuck up, we got a solution. But it's only going to apply to the backup refs at this moment. I don't know what any of this means right now.
This is like a story that is like the worst part of the offseason. The fact that this could actually be a thing and the negotiations have stalled out. Yeah. Now, will it eventually come to an end? Yes. But the last time that happened, again, the Packers lost a Monday Night Football game because of the replacement refs. So I'd rather it not get to that point again, just personally. But man, that ref storyline in scripted this year is going to go hard, huh?
Thank you guys for promoting my coffee.
So what do you think, buddy?
Well, there's another part of this too, because the NFL is part of the issue here.
Did it work?
And I learned that the NFL refs make a little more money than we thought. They average like $385,000 a year, NFL refs. And they're the only pro league, right, where they're technically like not full-time employees, which is something we talk about every year. And the issue the NFL currently has, though, is there's too many refs, like some of their most, tenured refs in there. They have other real jobs.
Yeah.
Like as lawyers,
and
CEOs, and important jobs. And they're able to ref, and they're able to do basically split, half a year doing reffing, half a year doing this, and there's overlap or whatever. So the NFL created its own problem by allowing NFL officials to build and have other careers. And now to get to full-time refs, they have to do two things, which is one, increase their pay so much that
incentivize
those guys making probably more money doing those other jobs are willing to let those other jobs go, or they rip the Band-Aid off right now and they bring in refs who are only reffing, and this is how they start that process. Mm-hmm. The compromise should be somewhere in the middle where they're able to have at least a portion of the current refs be full-time, because there are refs that this is obviously making $385,000 a year.
Yeah.
You could just ref half the year and enjoy your life the other half with the money you're making.
Mm-hmm.
They need at least a third or half of the refs to be full-time. They have to phase out, allowing them to do other careers while doing this. And then, and part of what the refs are resisting is that their poorest performing refs could then be relegated to doing spring league football duties to basically get better in the offseason. The refs also did not want like some of the accountability measures, and they wanted more money. I think it's fair for NFL refs to be the highest paid officials out there. But the other difference is, they work, 1, maybe 2 days a week versus if you're reffing or officiating in other leagues. If you're NBA ref, you're working every other night or every night or whatever the hell it is. You're an umpire in the MLB. That's 180 games a season plus playoffs. Those jobs you're working a lot more. You're traveling a lot more doing those things. But it doesn't seem like they're talking to get to that compromise.
No, they stopped talking a couple weeks ago. So the Refs Association, they put out, the bottom line is our officials work for the wealthiest sports league in America with profits that far exceed any of the others. That's normally a point of pride for the NFL. However, our officials are substantially undercompensated when compared to baseball and basketball umpires and referees. Our officials also aren't provided the healthcare benefits that those at 345 Park Avenue have.
Yeah,
so
that's healthcare was the other part of that. So
yes. Also, the league sources expecting a lockout. We are so close to expiration and so far apart on economics that unless an act of God gets involved, the source said. And then again, this hasn't happened since 2012. Yeah, it's going to be, but apparently it's not just the economics, because you also you want there to be more accountability.
Asking for accountability that's a fair ask.
But according to Roger Goodell, everything is fine. Everything has been fine with the officiating for years. Well, but you have coaches and owners who are like, no, that's not the reality of the situation. And so now there's pushback and
it's kind of rare, but without the threat of the replacement refs, the NFL in this situation doesn't have a ton of leverage.
No.
So the only way they can actually negotiate with the refs association is by saying that they have another option. Because if the NFL is just like, if the NFL doesn't say we will go and move forward with replacement refs, they can't function. They can't function this season without officials on the field. So I think the NFL's serious about their willingness to have replacement refs on the field because they've done it before and they can learn from those mistakes, but it's like a necessary evil for them just to be able to actually negotiate here.
Well, I mean, the NFL was the one who lost out on it last time too, because when this happened back in 2012, there's like, all right, we're going to put replacement refs on the field and what's the worst that can happen? And it cost the Packers a football game.
It was that week 3. There was a bunch of games that were negatively affected, and then that was just the final game in prime time
on Monday night.
Final play, the exclamation point, the cherry on top of the shit Sunday, whatever you want to call it. The Ravens Patriots game was crazy. It had a ton of terrible calls. That ended controversy. There was 5 games I think that week that there's some sort of issue.
Yep.
What the NFL is not accounting for right now, and yes, they might be able to correct things via New York, which I think will save a lot of headaches. But the difference in terms of where we're at with social media right now versus 2012.
Oh, it's night and day.
Those early Sunday games, if something goes wrong there, they can't hide, right? Everything will be magnified.
It's going to be scrutinized to the max. Absolutely.
It's bad now with the regular refs.
Correct. I mean, and that's the thing. When you are talking about the product that is NFL football, this is the last thing that you want to talk about. This is the last thing that you want the focus to be on. It's like, oh, cool. Is officiating going to get worse? Great. That's something to look forward to. It just makes the product worse. But I think at some point you're just going to have an end to this, whether it's in the regular season because something has gone wrong yet again and it's just not sustainable, or they make a decision before the preseason.
But, that's the thing. Officiating in the NFL, it is. I think it's a very tough job.
Oh, sure.
It's fun to shit on the refs a lot, but if you're looking at officiating in the NFL versus like the NBA, I think officiating in the NFL is better and more consistent, and it generally, like, I think bad officiating in like the NBA and the way it affects games is more noticeable. And I think part of like what we want as fans is officiating to be even more consistent. We want officials to have the benefit of having wrong calls corrected, because we know the difference too of like what an official sees on the field is vastly different from what we're able to see watching the game at home. And we want them to have those same benefits that we do, and we want them to have those benefits more consistently. And it seems like the answer is right there for the NFL and the refs, and they're just not willing to meet there yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Because, I mean, even to also speak against the refs, right? And they did this, I don't know, was it like 2019 or something? When did they do that they were challenging pass interference calls? It was a few years ago now. I don't remember the exact date.
Yeah.
But that was a crap show, man. Like, because it was just the refs they were refusing to be wrong, right? Like, they reviewed it, and for the majority of the time, they were just like, no, there is no problem. So, like, I get it from the standpoint of increased accountability and refs pushing against that, because it's going to make their job a little bit more difficult. And like, it's challenge. You're seeing this in baseball right now, like with the I don't know what it's called, but they're able to review balls and strikes now, which I've seen a couple of clips of it. And it's already incredible, like, of just how angry people get. So I get it. Your job is heavily scrutinized. But it's like you said, there has to be some balance in the middle where you're able to get officials who can do the best job possible while having oversight to make sure that the game is being played correctly, and also, compensate them fairly.
Yeah. Also, officials got to stop working drunk too.
Yeah, that's true.